Welcome to the quarterfinals of the Go4SC2 Monday Premium Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know what this means, this is when the best of threes begin. And when, well, let's be honest, the games start getting a little bit tougher, because this is where all the good players go. And of course, the winner of this will go on to fight the winner of Tefl versus Fraz, so either way, going to be a fantastic series to follow this up. I am Rifkin, thank you for joining me here on Base Rate TV this Monday morning. It's spawning in the lower right corner of the map. Now teamless, but doesn't make him any less of a man. It is going to be the God Mode Protest player known as ELFI. And his opponent to the northern location, the upper right corner of Alterzim, this massively ridiculous map, is going to be the red Terran player from My Insanity, the God of Terran, JJAKJI. Now it's a little bit I don't know, I don't want to say over or underwhelming, but this is going to be a really good matchup, just kind of period, because ELFI is a fantastic player who does it like this is the thing. This is one of those few matchups in the European audience, I guess, where I could just sit back and probably say nothing, and you would understand the grandeur that is both of these players. And unfortunately, I can't just sit back and say nothing. I'm casting StarCraft 2, but the point is that these are two fantastic players meeting up against one another. And this is kind of something you would expect to see in the finals, a little bit more than maybe the quarterfinals, but still a good match that'll be going down nonetheless. In a best-of-3 scenario, in a game 1, you're afforded to play a little bit more crazy. For those who don't know how the map selection works for Go4SC2, it's a veto system. And if you're unfamiliar with a veto system, here's the quick TLDR. There's an entire map pool, so like the ladder map pool. You basically each take turns vetoing one map at a time till you've got 3 left remaining. And then you pick the order of those 3 maps before you go into it. So it's not loser's pick unless players agree to play a different format, which sometimes admins will allow. But so they know the map sets. I don't know the map order, but they know what's coming into this. So maybe JJAKJI loves Alterzim. Maybe ELFI hates Alterzim because it's such a big, ridiculous map that you know, he'll have to dance around a little bit. Regardless, he can play a little bit crazier here in game number 1, and we see him doing that with a Stargate coming here to the north. Now, what's great about this is you'll notice the only base he scouted was down here. He doesn't need to scout whether the base is up here or up here, because the Oracle is going to take equal times to travel to both from this particular position. Now, JJAKJI is not a bad player, and he's certainly not going to get caught off guard by this. Even though he went for the earlier command center, as we see, we have the barracks coming down. There will most likely be a third barracks following this up because no gas was taken. JJAKJI, if you've watched him before, very commonly, very often will make 2 barracks with a reactor and a tech lab, but instead he has to make 3 because what he needs to do is get 6 Marines per mineral line. He's not going to be afforded that reactor. He just doesn't have the time for it. Now he's scouting up here for the Stargate, because this is normally where a Stargate will come down. It's very rare that it's on the other side of these rocks. So I don't know if the SCV will know to go check over there, but ELFI is confirming that there was no base over here, so now he knows the Oracle goes directly towards the east. Now, as stated before, the magic number is 6. If you guys have never played Terran, you've never run into this frustrating scenario where 4 Marines, 5 Marines, it doesn't matter how well you micro them, you need 6 Marines, period, or you can't hold off an Oracle. Now, JJAKJI looks like he is going to send the SCV over there, so he's going to find this. But it's not like he can do anything about it. There's no Reaper out here that can come to the pylon and pick it off. There's no Marines that are going to be over there anytime soon. But what this does confirm is that he has to protect his base versus Oracles, and he knows that much. So he's got enough Marines to do just that. He's completely pulled workers off the natural, and I love this move, so he doesn't have to be in 2 places at once. At the moment, he doesn't have enough units to split between 2 bases, so rather than split his forces and lose a couple of SCVs for free, he takes them all towards the main, keeps it safe and sound. And I missed the SCV dying. I'm sorry about that, guys. I messed up on first blood. Don't worry, I'll make it up to you with a multi-kill later on. Anyways, the Oracle takes a bit of pepper, is driven off, doesn't get a lot done, and what's really nice for JJAKJI is he's splitting up his Marines to catch it if it were to circumvent, which it's trying to do. But it's not going to get past this army by much. These Marines will catch it, and ELFI is just straight up shut down. Second Oracle did come up, and a third one's being made. This isn't because, like, alright, I'm being stubborn and I hope this gets the job done. Oracles are good throughout the entire course of a game. Ooh, losing that one, that was a bit of a nasty loss to take. Anyways, back at home for ELFI. What changes in this matchup quite dynamically is, like, your standard Terran game is completely screwed by this map due to the way the natural works. And what I mean by that is, if you're in a position like this where you got a lot of Marines, you can roam around the map and you got biomass to move out, you usually take it to, you know, attack the natural base of your Protoss opponent, which would, you know, typically be out here in a normal map, and you'd have to burn an overcharge to defend it. In this scenario, ELFI, whether it's with one force field or just one overcharge, doesn't have to worry about defending his natural base. He doesn't have to worry about a Terran player splitting up this early on. Now, with this many Marines across the map, these Oracles are not going to be able to defend against this, but this should signal that there's not a lot at home probably to defend, and even if there's a turret down, which there is, he may just be able to DPS through it. 3 Oracles are going to certainly see what they can get done. He scouts the natural, sees the turret, doesn't want to go in. Turret in the main's not finished yet, though. Ooh, this is going to suck for JJAKJI, actually. Going for the tech lab perhaps would have been a better choice. He can kill infinite SCVs, guys, but if he loses that stim pack, this is how you kick a Terran in the nuts. So stim pack is lost, and the turret will not go up anytime relatively soon. Oh, this is nuts. Nuts for JJAKJI. He starts up his stim pack again, but not going to be afforded the opportunity. Marines rushing back home to try and defend, but in an absolutely crappy spot. He simply doesn't have what it's going to take. Right now what he's doing is trying to wait out the energy on these Oracles. And it looks like he will actually get away with this. One Oracle has enough energy to probably kill about 4 or 5 SCVs, but its time is limited here as far as damage goes. So Widowmine goes off, actually friendly fires some SCVs, but kills one of the Oracles and almost gets the other. Again, a really crappy situation here for JJAKJI, but he makes the best of it. And really, that's what separates like the pros from the amateurs right there, guys. It's being able to keep your cool. It's not about eventually fending off the Oracles or even straight up killing them. It's keeping a cool head under a very stressful situation. And that's what makes you a good player, more than, I think, tactics or strategy. And I think there's some people who I'm not going to name with terrible gameplay, but keep a cool head that oftentimes make it through to like quarterfinals and semifinals of weekly tournaments, simply because they don't give in to pressure. Now, while this is going on, ELFI's been playing this out pretty standard behind this. We got +1 armor on the way. We got charge in a moment's time. That storm tech is going to be started as soon as the Templar Archives completes. And we're going to have that very typical charge lot storm composition with Archons eventually mixed in to go fight against JJAKJI's bio, which perfectly fine. That's how you play TVP out. It might be a little bit delayed because ELFI had to invest a lot of gas into a total of 4 Oracles. But I mean, I kind of think he got his money's worth out of it. Delaying stim for so long is huge because right now without stim, if JJAKJI had stim, guys, he'd be pushing. He'd be going for drops. He'd be trying to do some damage. He would try and put the pain into ELFI, but as we see, he's stuck at home. Not a single unit outside of his immediate bases because he can't do anything. If he engages stalkers or zealots, his Marines will just straight up die. These don't even have combat shields, much less stim pack. Combat shields actually hasn't even been started. Perhaps a little bit of an oversight, I wonder. I mean, he put the gas into 1-1, and I get that, but he's got gas to spare, so prioritizing medevacs over upgrades seems to be the course of action, as 2 will be made here immediately. But there, okay, never mind. Combat shield started just a little bit later. Perhaps, again, the timing of losing Stimpack messing with him just a tad. But, okay, picks off the Oracles. I don't like that ELFI gave those away. I was just about to talk about how if you keep the Oracles alive long enough, you start tagging buildings, you start tagging armies, you come in, you throw down that revelation, and you see where medevacs are, means JJAKJI's not going to drop anytime soon, at least not without ELFI knowing it. Now, ELFI has finished up, not Storm, but Templar to make some Archons. He does have, well, sorry, he's got Storm, I should say, but he's not relying on Storm, he's making a couple Archons there. And it looks like with some Archons, a couple of Storms peppered in, and a lot of Zealots, he should be able to put on the pain to JJAKJI here, who, again, his stim will be finished, but his combat shields will not. So Storm, which normally already destroys Marines with combat shields at 55 health, will have a very easy time wiping out 45 health Marines. The upgrade on that combat shields will probably finish in the middle of this fight, but again, JJAKJI's not afforded a lot of time here. He's got some Widowmines down. I really like this a lot because ELFI has no detection. That's where the Oracle again could have come into effect, but this will strip the shields off of these units. Archon is immediately going to go down. But with JJAKJI having a lot of bunkers, he knows he needed these. His combat shield's so late, still not done. See, Storm's going off like crazy. SCVs popping left and right. Just death and massacre. But JJAKJI still manages to hold strong through this. Bunkers are a little bit too good, and despite the fact that a ton of SCVs just went down, we do see ELFI in full retreat. More Storms being slapped down, but with the bunker standing and not enough surface area to really prevent him from getting in here. Or, sorry, to prevent him from getting in here. It's going to be very difficult for ELFI to pursue a further engagement. Another Widowmine. Fantastic use of Widowmines here. Now, granted, this is kind of at the cost of ELFI not having any detection, which is weird, because normally you have observers all over the map. But really well handled here. Back at home, he's got some cannons up in defense around the mineral lines, so drops can't go on in the counterattack fashion. JJAKJI kind of poking in and out right now. Again, the biggest strength is he's got these Widow Mines that ELFI has no means to attack. They go straight through shields, guys. They're spell attack. They do tons of damage here. And looks like he will go off on that sentry, not the mothership, unfortunately. Bunkers are still trying to hold on, but Archon's driven back once again. In this very micro-intense situation, ELFI is just unfortunately not able to bully JJAKJI, but if he were to perhaps come in from this angle, come up here, and just go at... I mean, the bunkers aren't in range to defend anything. Like, the key thing here, guys, is even though now he has combat shields... Well, actually, I take that back. Now he's got ghosts coming out. JJAKJI's set to deal with his Archons. But like before, let's rewind 30 seconds. These bunkers are the only thing that were keeping JJAKJI alive. If ELFI had gone around and attacked from up here, if he had, more importantly, an observer, not to see the actual Widow Mines, but to see that there was a huge gap in defense up here, he would have absolutely capitalized on it. But he didn't know, and he doesn't know still, which is really unfortunate. Now, there is a cannon down, and a cannon deters one drop. In some cases, we'll even stop one drop, but 3 drops is going to be a little too much. This base is going to be under some pressure. ELFI's saying, all right, if you're dropping my base, you've got less units to defend with. Gets in here. There's no SCVs on top of these bunkers. They're going to go down right away. The Widow Mines are already on cooldown, and Storms haven't even been used yet. Trying to fight at the ramp's going to force a big choke, and this is not looking too good here for JJAKJI's third. But ELFI rather, has lost his natural base. Sorry. I don't know why it's the devil, but ELFI's lost his natural base. He's losing gateways. Depowering these pylons means there's going to be no reinforcements anytime soon, and ELFI pretty much has to win with what he's got in the base of JJAKJI right now, which is quite frankly a possibility, however unlikely. Ghosts throwing out EMPs left and right. We got Widow Mines burrowed. SCVs are getting massacred, sure, but mules will make up that difference. If the production of JJAKJI can hold on, he will win this game. He's caused way too much damage to ELFI behind this, and looks like he's even trying to focus the main. Almost gets the main. He does in the end get the main. ELFI forced to GG, and game number 1 will go to Mind Sanity's JJAKJI.